recognize United Nations Watch. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Tiana Wang, and I'm the daughter of a Chinese political prisoner. I wish to use my family's experience to draw this Council's attention to the situation of human rights in China. My father, Dr. Wang Zhang, is a medical doctor by training, who chose to devote his life to founding the overseas Chinese democracy movement. In 2002, he was abducted while traveling in Vietnam and taken to China. He was tried, falsely convicted, and sentenced to life in prison. It's now been 12 years, and my father is still behind bars in solitary confinement. On one matter, I do wish to express my sincere gratitude to the Chinese government. My father was recently transferred from Beijiang prison to Shaoguan prison, where his treatment and conditions have significantly improved. My family is thankful for this news. But still, my heart is broken from the last 12 years of my father's imprisonment. More painful is that the authorities have punished me for the advocacy work that I have done on my father's behalf.
I would ask the Speaker to wait, as there is a point of order from China. You have the floor, China.
Thank you, Mr. President. We all know that now we are discussing human rights situations that merit attention from the Human Rights Council. In other words, we are discussing specific country situations of human rights. We are not discussing individual cases on human rights. Therefore, it is our view that the Speaker for UN Watch does not correspond with the agenda item under discussion at the moment. Therefore, we would like to request you to stop the Speaker from speaking. Thank you, sir.
I thank China. I can see further nameplates. Do you wish to take the floor along the same lines? The United States first. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. We highlight the United States firmly believes that accredited NGOs must be permitted to speak in the Council. Though member states, including the U.S., may occasionally disagree with NGO statements, it is essential that civil society voices be heard here in the atmosphere of open expression. Without addressing the substance of the Speaker's statement, we are of the opinion that we have heard, from what we have heard of the intervention so far, that it is indeed addressed to the subject matter at hand before this Council. We respectfully ask you to rule that the Speaker be allowed to finish the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Venezuela, please. Thank you very much, President. We'd first of all like to support the point of order mentioned by China. Venezuela supports the participation of non-governmental organizations, but nonetheless, we do believe that we must abide by the specific issue under discussion. In other words, a general discussion on human rights, not raising individual cases, exactly as China said. Thank you. Thank you. I recognize the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Mr. President. The United Kingdom supports the point of order made by the delegation of the United States. The United Kingdom supports the right of accredited NGOs to speak at the Human Rights Council. While we may not agree with all the comments made, we certainly support the right of NGOs to make them, and we therefore request that the Speaker be allowed to finish the statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Cuba, please. Thank you very much, President. We agree with what China and Venezuela have said. We do not think the Speaker is abiding by the subject matter of the item under discussion at the moment. So we support the point of order requesting the Speaker not to continue. The issue under discussion at the moment is human rights situations that require the attention of the Council, and we do believe the Speaker is not speaking to this point. Thank you.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you. Ireland, please.
Mr. President, Ireland would like to support the point of order made by the United States. Like others, Ireland firmly believes that this Council should preserve the space for civil society and that accredited NGOs must participate in the Council. From what we have heard so far, we do believe the Speaker's statement is linked to the agenda item by way of example, and we would ask that the Speaker be allowed to continue. Thank you.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers before I rule on this matter?
Pakistan.
Pakistan, please. You have the floor.
President, we would like to support a point of order raised by China as it is on a principled position. Agenda item 4 is about country-specific situation, not cases of individuals. So therefore, we would request you to make the Speaker abide by the agenda item which is under discussion and not bring in the individual situations.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you. Saudi Arabia, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We support the point of order that was presented by China. Saudi Arabia has no reservation regarding the participation of NGOs, but they must abide by the item under consideration. Thank you.
Well, let me hear from other speakers again very briefly. I think if you all raise your nameplates, it will help us in our work. France, Germany, Hungary, the Czech Republic, Switzerland. I'll close the speakers list there, and I hope nobody else adds their name at the end. Germany, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would also like to underline the point of order made by the United States. Germany believes that this is a place for civil society accredited to the Council to raise their voices, and we have no impression that the specific expression here was not under this item issue. Thank you.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you. I recognize France.
Merci.
Thank you. France believes that civil society is very important. Civil society makes a big contribution to the work of the Human Rights Council and must be allowed to take the floor. There is nothing justifying us standing in the way of this NGO having its say. Thank you. I recognize Hungary.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We just would like to support also the point of order by the US, and we think that the Human Rights Council serves as a platform for open dialogue and for sharing opinions and experiences, and we believe that the feedback and input of civil society is important in advancing the discussion on human rights, and their engagement should be encouraged by the Council, not hampered. Thank you very much.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you. Switzerland, please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, President. My delegation too believes that it's important to respect the right of NGOs to take the floor and to express their opinions, even if we don't share the ideas that they express. The statements must not be interrupted if they quote cases of human rights violations, and we do believe that the Speaker ought to be allowed to continue its statement. Thank you. Thank you. The Czech Republic, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Also, this delegation would like to support the point of order raised by the delegation of the United States. The Czech Republic believes that striving for greater enjoyment and protection of human rights globally would have been very difficult, if not impossible, without the work of civil society. This Council has always been a forum for a free exchange of views by various stakeholders. We understand that this NGO is duly accredited and has spoken on issues relevant to this agenda item. Consequently, it should not be interrupted in its statement, and we ask you, Mr. President, to allow its representative continue with his intervention. Thank you.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. That was the last delegation requesting the floor on this point of order. And in the light of everything that's been said, let me say this. Human rights situations don't come out of a vacuum. And so it is important to consider human rights situations in a context. In the same way that all speakers have to abide by the issues on the agenda, then speakers must tackle issues that are relevant to agenda item 4 and can therefore only mention specific situations by way of illustration of the point that they are making. When we are having a general debate under item 4, then speakers can raise issues or make comments on human rights situations that need to be brought to the attention of Council, including human rights situations within countries. And on that note, I will give the floor back to the speaker who was making a statement.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the past 5 years, the authorities have banned me from visiting him. And this year, they stopped delivering my letters. Mr. President, I have come today to make 2 appeals. First, to the Chinese government. I know you consider my father an enemy of the state, but you have spoken here of China's commitment to the development of human rights. Therefore, I ask you to recognize my father as your partner in nurturing China's progress and to acknowledge that you both share a fundamental love of country. And second, I wish to make an appeal to this Council. China was recently elected to this body, and as such, it has pledged to uphold the highest standards in the promotion and protection of human rights. Accordingly, I urge this Council to call on China to release my father and all other prisoners of conscience. Thank you, Mr. President.
Je vous remercie.